Hey everyone, Dan with Mac Rumors, and one of the questions that we get a lot is whether Headphones X are better than Apple AirPods, and for the most part, that answer is a no, at least in my opinion. There is one product that we get asked about the most, and that is the Jabra Elite 65Ts, and we actually just tested these out over the last week, and so in this video, we're gonna find out whether or not they are a worthy AirPods alternative. So whenever I test out or review a pair of headphones, the three major categories to me that are important are in this particular order: comfort and design, sound quality, and then the features that set the headphones apart from the competition. With that said, jumping right into comfort and design, the Jabra Elites are about middle of the road for me. This style of headphone usually are an awful fit, and they either fall out very easily or are just very uncomfortable. Now, for the most part, these headphones are actually just a perfect fit for my ears. However, they do feel a bit cramped, and after a few songs, I can already start to feel the ear fatigue. Maybe it's because I'm so used to the AirPods or over-the-ear headphones, but long listening sessions on the Jabra Elite 65Ts is just not possible for me at the moment. Unlike the AirPods, where I can literally use them for an entire 4-hour flight and forget that they're even in my ears. The Jabra Elites are pretty small, but they do pack a lot of tech in this form factor, so that makes them a bit dense and heavy on the ears. When I take them off, it feels like a weight has been lifted off my ears, literally. Which is unfortunate because unlike AirPods, they actually look relatively normal in your ears. And what's even more unfortunate about the comfort level is that these actually sound really, really good, and not being able to use them for long periods of time is kind of a bummer. I do want to point out that if you're looking to use these during a workout, I wouldn't be concerned about them falling out of your ears. The snug fit in this case actually has a positive. These guys should not fall out at all. The company does, however, offer a sport version if workouts are your primary use case. Each headphone does have a button to where you can perform various functions like play, pause, volume up and down, etc. There's actually a guide to what each headphone can do inside of the app, but it's kind of confusing. Regardless, once you do figure it out, getting them to perform the actual functions is much easier than the double tap feature found on AirPods. Plus, you have more options for controls like volume, which is something that you can't do on this version of AirPods. Overall, I really like the design. They look like a more traditional pair of headphones, but as weird as AirPods might look, they offer me much more comfort, and in my opinion, I will trade that for the weird design any day. Now, it's no secret that the AirPods aren't an audiophile's dream. However, to me, I think they sound good enough for my use case, and given the level of convenience and comfort that they offer, that makes them sound even better to me. The Jabra Elite 65Ts actually have good sound quality. In fact, as far as true wireless headphones go, these are by far the best sounding ones that I have tested so far. Unlike AirPods, you can actually download the Jabra app and further tune these headphones to your liking. There are different music presets that are already available to you, or you can always mess around with the equalizer to get a more accurate sound profile that you might like. As far as call quality goes, I've only used them for a handful of test phone calls, and I was told that the call sounded crystal clear, and the other person would not have guessed that I was using headphones. To be fair, with AirPods, I rarely ever get called out for bad sound quality, but it's happened a few times where I've had to take them off and use my phone for a better experience. The Jabra Elites also offer a 4-microphone setup, which is actually pretty nuts for a pair of headphones this small. This would explain the fantastic audio during a call, but that's not the only reason for the 4 microphones. These headphones are one of the first true wireless options to feature Amazon's voice assistant, Alexa. Don't worry, from here on out, I will refer to Alexa as simply Amazon's voice assistant. The inclusion of the voice assistant is one of many cool features that are actually offered with the Jabra Elite 65Ts. Now, I personally don't use Amazon's voice assistant, but for you Apple Music users out there, Amazon and Apple recently allowed for the voice assistant to integrate well with Apple Music. So now you can use the voice assistant to play whatever playlist, album, or song you might want on Apple Music. Or at least I thought you could. I could not get the Amazon voice assistant to recognize Apple Music on the Jabra Elites, but you can ask it to play stuff on Amazon Music if that's your cup of tea. You can also use Siri if you're on an iPhone or Google Assistant if you're using an Android, but that integration is a bit slow and clunky. The next version of AirPods is expected to get Hey Siri functionality, which is great for hardcore Siri users, but if you use Apple Music, I'd much rather have Amazon's voice assistant instead. The Jabra Elite 65Ts have an expected 5 hours of battery life, which is right in line with AirPods, and I found that to be pretty true for the most part. Of course, the case acts as not only a place to store and carry your headphones around, but how you're going to actually charge your headphones when you're finished using them. The case also charges via a micro USB cable, which is not ideal. I would have much preferred USB-C here. One other cool feature that's exactly like the AirPods is that when you take a headphone out, the music will pause, and then when you put them back in, the music will then resume. I do think it's a bit more sensitive than the AirPods as it will activate a bit prematurely, but it's a welcome feature nonetheless. The Elite 65Ts also offer an IP certification of 55, which is good for a little water protection and sweat, unlike the AirPods, which technically offer no IP certification, but are pretty sweat resistant, and I've gotten them wet here and there and they've held up fine. The app is where you'll also find a few more features like soundscapes and the ability to turn on surrounding audio mode, which will amplify the sounds around you. This is useful if you're on a plane and want to hear announcements from the pilot, or you're in an area where you might need to be aware of your surroundings. When I tested this out at a coffee shop, I was able to pretty clearly hear everyone's conversations around me. It was cool at first, but it quickly became annoying, and so I turned it off. Now, as great as all of these features are, there is still only one true wireless headphones that offer the most important feature in my opinion, and that is the W1 chip inside of Apple's AirPods that allow for not only a quick and seamless connection, but the ability to have your AirPods connected to all of your Apple devices with one simple tap. There's no need to go into Bluetooth menus or settings. They are just connected to whatever Apple device you want. Now, if you don't have a lot of Apple devices around, this feature might not be a big deal for you, but for someone who switches between an iPhone, iPad, and a MacBook all during the same 4 to 5 hour flight or during the same workday, this feature is huge. At the end of the day, the Jabra Elites are a fantastic AirPods alternative. If you really don't want to get AirPods, these are the best alternatives that I've tried out in the last few years, and in some areas they are actually better than the AirPods, but I would still recommend AirPods over the Jabra Elites. The W1 chip and the comfort that they offer trumps the better sound quality, which I know sounds crazy, but that's just the reality right now. The quality does nothing for me if I can't use them for extended periods of time. Now, everyone's experience could and will be different. If you have the ability to try them both out and see which one's a better fit for your ears, I'd go with whatever you find to be more comfortable. Either way, you won't be disappointed. They are both fantastic options like I mentioned before. For me, however, I'm still choosing AirPods. If you have either one of these headphones, let us know which one and if you like them in the comments section down below. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.